Hi, Akosua. Thank you so much for joining Conversations with Comic-Con. It's such an honor to have you here. And we have a chiefly South African audience who may not be completely familiar with you in Ghana. Would you mind filling us in a little bit about what it is, who you are and what you do?
Okay, sure. Well, hello to new people I'm meeting through this. I work in the media in Ghana and radio and television. I have a radio show on Y107.9 FM. It's more pop culture, evening drive, fun, good vibes only. I am the founder of Drama Queens, which is a youth activist, artistic activist organization. And it's a young under 30 organization. So as of June, I became too old for the organization. So I've actually stepped down for the younger people to take over. So excited. So with Drama Queens, we are very interested in artistic activism using theater, film, music, graphic novels, to pass on messages on social change and rethinking and reimagining, our lives as it should be. I do so many things, but yes, this is in a brief what I do. Largely in media and then activism here in Ghana.
So I believe you were an Obama Foundation leader.
Yes.
Yes, and what was that experience like? Because what a huge honor.
Oh man, I'm grateful that honor came my way. I think the powerful thing about spaces like that, foundations, fellowships like that, is the fact that it's where sometimes for the first time a lot of Africans get to meet other Africans, right? And for me, this was like the second time in my life that I got a space where it wasn't just Ghanaians around me. I was meeting Nigerians, South Africans, Sudanese, meeting different people, hearing what they do in their world, what society is like, and it really felt like a really Pan-African experience, then for me. So I was grateful, for the time. I was grateful for all the people I met and learned from, that we still, watch from the distance now that we're all back home. But yeah, it was an honor. It was an honor, especially for the Pan-African experience.
Absolutely incredible. And I mean, I saw one of the things that you said about the experience. I was reading an article of yours. You said that there was some kind of a comparison that happened between so-called developed and non-developed countries. I've always, whenever someone says to me they think civilization started with Europe, I'm always like, read more, listen more, ask more questions. So how do you combat that?
By trying to change the narrative, showing a different way of thinking. For instance, the reason why that kind of comparison would definitely come is because maybe people are marking history from the global leadership of the global West, that's where they are measuring from. But honestly, it's because a lot of Africans themselves do not know the history before pre-colonial Africa, and that was a deliberate attempt, to erase whatever history was there before, to be able to not give people a guidance or a sense of what their present really is, and what they've been able to do in the past and what they can do, the knowledge that they could have passed on into today. So changing the narrative is how I try to combat that, and using the art. For me, the art is where you can teach history, use fictionalized versions of epic tales to tell stories of those times, and that's how you bridge the gap from academia and the history that people won't read into a form that people will be able to imbibe and remember. By watching a film about Yaa Asantewaa or an animation about Yaa Asantewaa is how I now know, Yaa Asantewaa was this and this person in my history, and therefore there were strong women leaders who actually went to war, African women leaders who actually went to war, so that is not a strange thinking today when you have women who are strong. History is a powerful thing. History is a very, very powerful thing. So for me, changing the narrative using history, I guess.
Yeah, and of course people try to own history and they try to change it to kind of suit their own agendas, but I mean, the truth is the truth.
And it's political though. It's political. History is very political. Whoever owns it whoever gets to tell the story is who has power, in a
Yeah.
sense, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've seen that you do a lot of you have done a lot of theatre and acting in your life.
Yeah.
That seems so different to all the other things that you do. Do you have
Yes.
something you really enjoy?
Actually, theater and acting is the first thing I was. It was
Okay.
my first role entering into this life. Acting has been something I've done since I don't even remember when. You know, I became the president of a theater club in school, and eventually, you know, did a lot of great theater productions at the School of
Yeah.
Performing Arts at Legon. I actually did a course in School of Performing Arts in acting. So acting is actually my first role, is what I wanted to do in my life.
Yeah.
But obviously, we need to survive. It wasn't the only way. I wasn't always getting, you know,
Yeah.
film jobs,
Yeah.
and theater is sparing, and the roles weren't inspiring to me at the time, which is why I even started Drama Queens, to be able to now create the kind of script I wanted to see women act, you know,
Yeah.
three-dimensional roles, you know. So I guess moving from, so acting has been what I wanted to do, and it's what actually informed Drama Queens, which
Yeah.
became the activist organization it was, you know.
So drama queens. I mean, do you encounter any negativity towards it? Especially with the kind of workshops that you have. Do you see?
So I would say, what we've, instead of negativity, because of the mediums that we use, which is deliberate, using art, using very personal conversations, which we call speakeasies, for instance, you know.
Yes.
It's how you break whatever opposition or tension comes with societal prejudices, where people now just they are really just back here to enjoy really good art, and then they hear the messaging, and then it makes them think, and then it inspires, oh, maybe I shouldn't think this way because of this or that. Because the great thing about art is it's empathy. You know, you can't ever take that. You know, someone can have certain prejudices, but when you are able to feel someone else's emotions, when you're able to step in
Yeah.
their shoes, which we can do through the magic of art, right?
Yeah.
There's where you break whatever, you know, skills that society builds on, because those are not the real things. You know, you're trying to get into the heart of the things.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I've answered your question, but
No, totally.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah.
So yeah. So I've noticed also in your writing you do a lot of she instead of he. You know, because there's so much of this like idea that like feminine equals feminine
All
equals
right.
weak or second best, and masculine equals good and strong. And I think it's so important to keep using pronouns that empower or
Yeah,
speak to people that are underrepresented as well. And
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure, is that kind of a positive, like a conscious step that you took? Is it something that you just felt you had to do?
You know, I've been doing this for the last maybe 10 years, and you
Nice.
are the first person who's actually really noticed that in my writing. I came to this through poetry and acting, as I was saying. And so when I started writing my own poems, started writing my own short stories, I felt the default when you go to he, when you're talking about life, you know, like for instance, manhood, or yeah, you know, using masculine
Yeah.
you know, define the whole of humanity, right? And I realized, no, not, it shouldn't be in my writing, you know, because my writing is from my soul, and my
Yeah.
soul is a she, you know. And so it became a very deliberate thing, and then it became habit, you know. It became habit, you know. Sometimes even when you exclaim and like, oh God, you know what I say
Yeah.
now, it's like, oh goddess, you
Yes.
know. that's
Yeah.
that's how I've mainstreamed it now in my writing, in my
Yeah.
everyday speech, because I'm my default, you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so,
And yeah, and it's just changing implicit biases that people have.
mhm,
They can see the right representation around them. And
yeah,
I think a lot of men think the opposite of patriarchy is going to be
mm,
man hating or sort of,
mm, mm,
matriarchy kind of thing. But
mm,
the truth
mm.
is that the actual is equality, isn't it? For me, like the opposite of patriarchy is equality. So I don't know. Is that something you agree with, or?
Yeah, I'll say the opposite of patriarchy is equity, is humanity,
Yeah.
you know. And that kind of thinking where it's if it's not patriarchy, then it's going to be a matriarchy, it's going to be man hating, right? It's going to be another oppression
Yeah.
that will come above the other. It comes from a lack mentality. It comes from um a thinking that generally feels that there isn't enough abundance in this on this earth for all of us to successfully, you know,
Yeah.
live in abundance, right? So if there is not this system, that means someone else is definitely gonna take over and I will lose, which is why the violence comes
Yeah.
in this, because they begin to feel I'm doing this for my survival, you know,
Yeah.
which is a ridiculous way to think, because I feel
Totally.
like I feel like the basic truth, if anything, you know,
Yeah.
of this universe is its abundance. You
Yeah.
know, the fact that we can sit and breathe air and still be alive. You know,
Yeah.
there are all these systems and societies we've created are just our many ways of living together, but that's not the bigger picture. We are, it's like we're living in cages and just seeing the cage as the reality, but the reality is the whole universe, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you start to think that way, you realize one person getting does not mean I lose, you know, because it's a giving
Absolutely.
to get to give again. It's a I love you to love me to love us, you know. It's because we are all interconnected, you know, whether we want to or not. I feel like this
Yeah.
year has shown us especially the
Totally.
power of our interconnectedness, you know. So definitely I'll say the solution to that kind of thinking is remove yourself from the lack mentality, remove yourself from that violent survival of the fittest mentality, which is actually just been, it's an illusion created
Yeah.
for power gain, you know. It's an illusion.
That I've never heard such an eloquent answer to that question. That's so powerful.
Thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you so much for that answer. And
Thank
all
you for the
that
question,
thought.
you made me
Yeah,
think.
no, cool. And so I'm sure with drama queens, you must have met a lot of young women or young girls who perhaps didn't see their own value and their own worth in society. How does drama queens address that other than through the speakeasies and things like?
Okay, so our social media is a very powerful part of Drama Queens
Yeah.
programming. We've created a very beautiful, I call it the a green space on the internet, you know, where
Yeah.
our Instagram, you know, it's very empowering. You see messages of LGBTQIA plus people in their empowerment and happiness. You see reaffirmations, you know, you see Black women in their glory, you know. It's and that alone does a lot for the mentality of the
Yeah.
people in that space. If every day,
Yes.
because everyone is on Instagram a lot, everyone is on Twitter a
Yeah.
lot, and if every day as you're scrolling you see a picture, a powerful picture like that, then the next day you see a powerful picture like that, is a
Yeah.
sub is a subconscious working, you know, where eventually that becomes the truth in your mind, you know, and then you begin to operate from that kind of thinking. So
Yeah.
yes, we have definitely I've seen, oh my goodness, women, the young women I've worked with become such beautiful creatures in and out, and
Yeah.
the creations they've been able to make. We actually have a theater production we just put out yesterday by one of our staff members, Angela, and I was just amazed to see what she did with her directorial choices.
Yeah.
And she wasn't
Yeah.
someone who was into theater before she joined Drama Queens, and now she is directing theater productions and in such
Amazing.
mind-blowing ways, you know. Yeah.
That must
I've
feel
been,
so good.
yes, I've been watching it all over and over again, you know. I just can't get enough of it.
Yeah, that's fabulous. So it's live theatre, is that right?
Yes, so because of COVID, we had to actually film it so that we put
Yeah.
it out online instead.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was performed live theater, and then we filmed that, and then that's what's online right now.
And where can people find that while we're on this topic? Where can people see the recordings and your Instagram and your Facebook?
Yes, yeah. Sure. You can go to, it's at Drama Queens GH on Instagram, and
Yeah.
also at Drama Queens GH on Twitter. The current theater production, you can actually just search Drama Queens GH, Drama Queens Ghana on YouTube,
Yeah.
and you'll find our page. It's up there. Watch it. Let us know what you think. You know,
Yes,
comment.
awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then I wanted to ask about your poetry and short stories as well, because I mean, is that something that really inspires you? Is it something you love to do?
Yeah, I mean, I oh my goodness, I do so many things.
Yeah,
But
I bet
writing,
you
my mom told me I wrote my first poem at like
do.
4 or 5 years old,
Mm,
and I realized as I grew older, writing first came to me in poetry. It's where
mm,
it can get really complex and deep in your head, and
mm,
poetry gives you that conciseness
mm,
and playing with words in ways that would draw the multiplicity of interpretation you want,
mm,
and so for me poetry has been a vehicle, and it comes to
mm.
me when I'm in very emotional states or
Yeah.
inspired or whatever,
Mm,
so lately, yeah, I have a collection of poetry I've worked
yeah.
on,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to find a place to put it,
Mm,
eventually.
okay.
Yeah, so but
Yeah.
I've also tried to put more of that poetry writing in the graphic novels
Mm,
I'm writing currently.
yeah.
So there's a lot of poetic language
Mm,
in there. There's a lot of
mm,
soliloquies, monologues
mm.
in there, trying to bring that inside.
Can you tell me more about the graphic novels? Like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you illustrate as well, or if you work with an illustrator.
Oh, so we work with an illustration
Okay.
studio, but I'm
Okay.
the creator, and
Yeah.
I'm the creator and one of the writers.
Okay.
Um, and it's called Moon Girls, and
Yeah.
it follows the story of four African
Mm,
LBQ superheroes. I
mm,
think one of them is heterosexual, but they're on the
yeah.
spectrum,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're witches. In my
Yeah.
mind, they're
Mm,
powerful superheroes here to actually use the medium of graphic novels to have a conversation about African
mm,
corruption, about patriarchy, about
mm,
homophobia, about all the issues in our
mm.
society. And at the
That's
same time, you're
epic.
going to see them,
Yeah.
I love it,
Hmm.
And at the same time, you see these moon girls as in their everyday forms. Every time you think of a superhero, you're thinking of or you even think of a superhero first.
Yeah.
You don't think
First,
of
yeah.
yeah
Mm,
and so we've made it these superheroes, moon girls.
mm,
And moon girls also, you see them in their everyday, where
mm,
they are
mm.
they're going through the problems you go through too. They have
Yeah.
love relationships and
Mm,
heartbreaks and crushes
mm,
and losses and death and things like that,
yeah.
and it's our way of showing how everyday people we see around us are
Mm,
constantly like activists,
mm,
constantly trying to give into the society. You can
yeah.
see how sometimes it takes from them. It's a sacrifice,
Yeah.
but for some passion, for some belief in a better world, they still do it.
Mm,
So Moon Girls is a tribute to these activists, to these
yeah.
people, who even in their personal life suffer
Mm.
because of their choice to live this life.
So
Yeah,
freely, yeah.
and yeah,
Mm, yeah.
so yeah, that's in a brief what it is.
Is there quite a big market for the graphic novels in Ghana, or do you feel like you have to create that market space?
Okay, so there is a market, but it's pretty niche.
Hmm.
It's pretty niche. But I see it growing, and I feel like creating Moon Girls and even adding to that space where you have a consistent graphic novel series that comes out 6 chapters,
Mm,
is a way of now even opening up the markets to even more
mm,
more people who are interested, because
yeah.
there are people who follow drama queens, and then now follow us for other things, and now they
Mm,
see graphic novels, and it
yeah.
wasn't a thing they normally would read, but
Mm,
now it's
yeah.
it's an interest.
It's connected to something.
It's
Yeah.
connected, exactly.
Mm,
And
mm,
I mean, the great thing is how this has also opened up work for artists in the
mm,
community, writers at least, and illustrators to do work that they want to do,
mm.
so yeah.
Yeah. So you are very involved in the LGBTQ community. That's right, eh?
Yes, I'm
Yes.
an
Okay. That's
activist, yeah.
something. Yeah, that's something also very close to my heart, and I don't know sometimes how to help people to help me as a person in that
Yeah.
community.
Mm.
Yeah. So what do you kind of suggest to people who maybe on the outskirts, or don't know much about LGBTQI plus, and how they can help people to speak up and be free?
I'll say it always comes back to changing the narrative, and
Mm,
changing the narrative means creating those spaces.
mm,
I feel like for a lot of the community, the LGBTQ plus community in Ghana, um, having social media and being able to see online queer
mm,
spaces that
mm.
are empowering and
Yeah.
show you that, oh, I there are people who feel this way too, or think
Mm,
this way too, or this has been their experiences too.
yeah.
Makes you realize, okay, so I'm not this weird, crazy, abnormally.
Mm,
I'm a normal human being. I
mm,
am a part of humanity, and
mm.
and that alone. So I'll say what it is we should we should all collectively need to create more spaces,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of homophobic spaces,
Mm,
so but just by creating more green queer spaces,
yeah.
you reduce the homophobic spaces. And then,
Mm,
I mean, thinking changes generally in society.
yeah.
I keep saying, whenever you can change the law,
Yeah.
homophobic. But when it comes to culture, when it comes to
Mm,
attitude on the ground, you can't
mm,
change attitude by changing a law.
yeah.
You can change the law, but people will still lynch queer
Mm,
people. So
yeah.
you need to also work on the culture, and that's by
Yeah.
the spaces you create.
Yeah.
So
And the
platforms
attitudes.
you get, yeah, and
Mm,
attitudes, and
mm,
understanding and listening and learning.
mm. Yes.
Learning is a
Listening
big
and
thing. Learning and
asking
not learning.
questions.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And
Yes.
being willing to hear the
Yeah.
answers,
Yeah. Because sometimes
being
they're
willing to
hard.
hear. Yep,
Mm, yeah.
facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And sure, it's been so nice to talk to you, and I feel like I don't want to
Yes.
take up too much of your time, but it's
All
been
right.
absolutely fascinating, and it's so great to hear from someone who is really fighting and being an activist out there for women, for people in the LGBT community. So thank you very, very much, and thank you for
Thank
sharing your
you.
graphic novels. And I hope we can get some copies over here, and people can. Are they online?
Yeah, they're online. They're online, actually. You can download them for free. So just go to
Okay. Yeah,
moongirls.live, and then you have all 6 chapters for season 1. Download it for free, have it on your phone, read it when you're on the bus,
that is
wherever.
what I'm doing tonight.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.